Awesome. Hi, good day. Hi, everybody. So it's our first Facebook Live with Tuan Datuk Paduka Agong panjang-panjang lagi, apa lagi aku tak tahu, Ardy Ismail. Ardy, can you say a few words about yourself, please? Go.
Hi guys, everyone. Welcome to our first Facebook Live, and I'm Ardy, and I'm glad to be with Afiq from Fast Free Finance. Today, basically, it's our first time going on together under Halal Investing Network. So a bit about me. Basically, I'm a trader and investor. I look at various markets, all right? I look at the stock market, the crypto market, commodities, as well as the FX market, right? Because all these markets are interrelated, it's always good to actually have an understanding of all these markets and where they are going. Back to you, Afiq.
And before I forget, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam Ramadan, everybody. So it's our first one on HIN. We're going to be doing some very, very interesting things today. And before we go any further, certain disclaimers. Whatever you see today, it is for edutainment, education, and entertainment purposes only. Whatever particular asset classes we talk about are not an invitation for you to invest. Please do your own due diligence before you do and take any action. Okay, so my name is Afiq. You guys know me. We've been doing Halal Investing Network for a while now. Alhamdulillah, it's nice and a rainy Monday morning. I would like to introduce my very good friend, Ardy Ismail. He's been a figure in the investing world for a long while now. He's made a very nice fortune doing it. And so, inshallah, he will share with us how we can, number one, stop losing money, number two, start making money, and number three, and the most important, in the halal way. Ardy, it's all yours. We have the next 55 minutes. I promise 1 hour max. Let's go right into it.
Okay, all right. So let me just give an introduction. Okay, I've been actually trading and investing in stocks since 1999. I guess that's a long while, right? Some background story, right? So you might see me talking about entrepreneurship and other things, but on the investment part, there were a few times when I appeared on video, but at least I will give some introduction about myself. So since 2000, I was actually an undergraduate in NUS and did have a lot of time on my hands. So I decided to actually take up investing in the stock market, and that's what I did. I went to the business library, got some books, and then start actually, learning about various indicators and then started investing. So I didn't attend a course or anything like that, but yeah, it was quite a tumultuous, I would say, experience, because when you are doing this without any guidance and mentoring, it can get very, very confusing, right? So it's like one day the indicators are working and then you are making some money, which is good, 10 to 20% at the point in time market was moving, in that manner. And in a couple of months, in a month or two, you could actually be getting 10 to 20% at a point in investing in the Singapore stock market. But at one point, it decided to actually reverse, and I was a newbie. So I was thinking, hey, how come I use this indicator? I make money. I actually talked to my broker, and I asked him, how come I'm actually not making money now? Because I still use the same system, but I'm losing money. So yeah, and then he told me, he said, actually, sir, you use the indicators, it doesn't work all the time. Okay, he said it doesn't work all the time. You must know which indicator to use and which indicator not to use when the markets change. So I learned my first lesson there, that basically you cannot just take an indicator from anywhere and then learn it on YouTube and then after that start implementing. You can actually get into trouble doing that, you see. So yeah, so these are things that I would like to share. And yeah, progressing from there, in 2008, I looked into commodities as well, like what Afiq so did, right? Afiq, you went into oil, right? Yeah, so okay, oil is a very, very volatile asset. If I can remember, in 2008, price reached above $100 just before the financial crisis, and from $138 to $140, it dived down all the way to around $28-30. Yeah,
I remember that too clearly. So
you remember, right? Yeah, that was at the peak of the financial crisis caused by as you know, the credit crisis and the crash of Lehman Brothers. So yeah, it was quite a terrible time. If you don't know what you're doing at that point in time, you could lose a lot of money, I would say. But if you know what you should do in a crisis, you can make a lot of money, because the market actually never turned back and went up and up and up until now. It has never come back to that point where the all-time high was in 2008, okay, which we are going to look at the charts after this, right? Okay, so yeah, 2008 went into FX as well, looking at FX leverage, and then, as you know, leveraging, for the point of view of some scholars or most scholars, it's not halal, right? So, but at this point in time, there are also you can actually trade FX if it's spot, right, Afiq?
Correct. FX you can. The scores are quite clear. If you want to do Forex, you have to do on spot, and it must be done hand to hand.
Yeah. Okay. So from there, and now we have something new, which is crypto. So the crypto market is a new market, right? The volatility is, again, can be crazy. Can go up and down 30%, 50%, even down against you 50%. So it is something not for the faint-hearted. And I would say that if you are looking to go into investing, I think one of the safest way is to go through ETFs, like what Afiq has always mentioned. And if you are much more, if you want to try doing it on your own, then it will be stocks. Yeah. So let's look into without further ado, let's go into the Dow Jones Industrial Index. We're going to look at Dow Jones because it's the index for the US stock market. And what happens in the US stock market actually affect basically all the other markets in the world, right? So let me share with you my screen. Let's go.
Go ahead. I will be here to catch it and share it onto StreamYard. That's what we're using, the StreamYard. There, the logo somewhere. And okay, best.
All right. So can you guys see my screen? Afiq, can you see my screen?
I can. I'm checking on our Facebook. Guys, if you're watching, do comment. Let us know if you can see the chart that Ardy has shared. Just comment on the live video. Let us know, because it's not showing up on my Facebook. It's hung on my other Chrome tab. Ada tak? Let me check on my phone. Making sure that everybody can see this. Okay, best. It's moving. I can see on my phone. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, all right. So, okay, as you can see here, this is a Dow Jones Industrial chart, basically on the monthly time frame. All right. So we're not going to look at the daily time frame or go down to the the smaller time frames like the 4 hours and all that. We're going to take a look at the monthly time frame because it gives us an overview of where the market is going and what it has done in the past and what it can do in the future, right? So what I'm going to do is that what I've done actually is you see these yellow lines here. These are basically representing the cycles in the market. Okay? So market does not go in one straight line. Even if it's going up, it's not going to go in one straight line. It's going to actually go in cycles, right? And these are the cycles, okay? So it will span basically years, all right? So as you can see here, let me just explain on the left side of the screen, we have the market top here, the market cycle top, and then you can see that the market is actually hitting resistance on this part before it goes into a downtrend and hitting the bottom, it actually reversed and actually started to move up again. All right. So we will have market tops and bottoms as we go forward. All right. So let's look at 2008. All right. You see, this is 2008 and it coincides with the cycle bottom, right? So this is when the financial crisis actually happened, right? Maybe I can just draw a line here so that you can see where we were before the financial crisis. Right, so we were at somewhere around 13482 at this point. And when news of Lehman Brothers actually folding up, hit the news, basically we saw that prices of the stock market actually went down all the way to around 6570, okay, which is nearly half of what it actually was before. But once quantitative easing came into the picture, okay, basically what is quantitative easing? Okay, quantitative easing is basically the Federal Reserve, we can call it the central bank of US, basically printing actually more money and pushing it into the market, providing loans to businesses and other banks as well, providing liquidity so that, okay, their economy can stay afloat. All right. So what happened next was that after that quantitative QE1, we had QE2, and it actually went all straight up and it never looked back. All right. Because as we all know, or maybe I could just share with you guys, when there is quantitative easing by the central banks, this money usually it goes into the other banks so that they can provide loans as well to their bigger businesses, right? But the issue is that when these businesses get all these loans, all this liquidity, what do they do with that money? All right. Some of these companies, right, they do not actually use this money to invest in their business or grow more product lines or produce more innovations and all that. What they do is that they reinvest in the stock market, right? And this is also happening right now. As you can see in the recent news by companies like PayPal, Tesla, MicroStrategy, they are actually using their money, what's on their balance sheet, to actually invest in crypto, which is Bitcoin, right? Which is of course pushing the price of Bitcoin, okay, sky high right now, right? So that's what happens when there's a lot of money. It has to go somewhere. It has to flow somewhere, right? So back to this chart, basically what I'm trying to say is that if we look on the right, we had a crash somewhere in March last year, all right? A very quick move down from 28,391. We actually went all the way down to around the 18,000, all right? And then after that, the Federal Reserve decides to actually help the economy by injecting 1.2, 1.3 trillion, okay, US dollars in the economy, and it caused the market to move up again. So as you can see, whenever the US government, the Federal Reserve decides to come up with a monetary policy that's actually going to inject more funds, more liquidity into the market, you can see markets like the Dow Jones and all the other markets around the world actually going up, right? You can say that it's inflationary, but in my opinion, they have no choice, right? If let's say they do not provide a liquidity, you can see basically the economy might actually go into depression. Yeah. Okay, so where are we right now in terms of looking at the market? Right now, we are at an all-time high of 34043. So you might be thinking, we are at such a high place already. We should actually go down, right, from here. But if you look at the market cycle here, you can see that there is still space for it to actually go up. Right. So my take on the market is that the Dow Jones stock market will continue to move up. But how much more moving up it can go, okay, not very much actually. Most of the move have actually happened, right, since last year actually. And we only have a couple of, maybe max, the end of 2022, right, before we can expect another retracement to the downside. All right. So that's my take on the market. So if you are actually invested right now, I think that the market can still go up a little bit, but you got to be a bit more careful once we reach somewhere around here, which is around the 40,000 mark, and that's also a round number. Okay, a round number usually acts as a resistance. So at that point, there is a confluence of being near a resistance as well as being at near the cycle top. Yep. So yeah, maybe I'll stop sharing here and we can discuss, Afiq, about this, or you can, or should we just do it like this, showing the chart in front of us?
I think I have a few questions that some of our viewers might want to have an answer to quite typically. In fact, anybody out there, if you're watching and you have questions, just drop it into the comments. We'll pick it up and inshallah we'll try to answer as best as we can. We intend to do this regularly. And of course, do pay attention for when the announcements are coming up. Just let us know what questions you have or any particular things you wanna highlight so that we can help you along the way. But my first question is Tuan Dato' Paduka Ardy. how do I know? How do I know where I am right now? I mean, for the vast majority of us, yes, we do a lot of ETFs, we do a lot of unit trust, very passive stuff. And you're the guy we go to when it comes to a lot more active strategies. What kind of expectation do I have? Because I remember in all my workshops, when I share with people, I say, you're invested for the long term. You're invested for 10, 20, 30 years. But when you mention, some people look at hourly, hourly, daily charts, monthly charts. When I look at these kind of information, what kind of expectations should I have?
Well, if we are talking about time frames, right? If you are looking at, going into passive investing, meaning to say you just want to be invested and you just don't want to look at the capital, but maybe 10 years down the road and it's used for retirement. I mean, that's well and good. That's one strategy moving forward. However, there are also investors that actually look at an investment that goes maybe at they want to be invested only for, let's say, maximum 1 year, but they want to have much more returns with that 1 year investment. So they will actually look at other strategies, which I would say falls under the active investing category. So if you are talking about being an active investor, your investment, I mean, when you buy a stock, you might even consider selling it after a couple of weeks or even months. Yeah. So, however, having said that, the returns from there, of course, can be more than if you actually hold it in the long run, or it can even be less actually, because depends on how your strategy is like and what sector you are investing in, right? So, for example, last year, a lot of the technology stocks actually made fabulous gains because of the fact that we were, the COVID situation just started. So a lot of tech stocks, like, as you know, Afiq, so many people use Zoom, right?
One of the best performers. Crazy.
Yeah, so it performed really, really well. It started around $60 and it went all the way to $600. So that was a 10x kind of returns, 1,000%.
Amazing,
900% returns.
by the way.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So if you are someone who loves to actually track stocks, and then you are inquisitive and you do research, you love doing research, and you have a mind that wants to actually, you want to use your own thinking, your own thoughts on certain things, and then you want to, act it out as an investment, then you might want to go into active investing, right? However, yeah, if you are busy with your work or with your business or family or what other reasons there are, you're not really interested to know what's happening in the financial markets, reading an article about a company's balance sheets and their performance tire you out, then maybe that's not for you. Yeah. So
Speaking of Zoom, maybe later, I just did a quick check. According to the app that we're using, Zoom is Shariah compliant. So maybe when we go into so let's do a quick analysis with that later today. But on that note, what you say is absolutely true. I mean, I am a very big advocate of having multiple portfolios, right? For those people who are, like you said, like me, got family, got young children, really barely any time to view the market, passive strategies make sense. ETFs, unit trust, long-term stuff. But once you have the extra spare cash, the extra time, and you want to, increase your returns, then having a more active strategy also works, right? Like you have been doing active since 1999. I wasn't even born yet.
Oh, really?
No lah. No
Cannot be
Born ready.
If you are born in 1999, right now you should be around what? How old will you be? 22. 22, right? Yeah.
No. I was born in 1980s. 1980. Millennial, baby, millennial. And so, ultimately having a passive and an active strategy, both hand in hand, works together. But I would absolutely say, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say do not rely 100% only on active, correct?
Yes, correct. It's good to actually have a portfolio made up of, even if you're doing active, you have a portfolio of also having other products, financial products that are more passive in nature. Because it's a matter of strategy, and it's a matter of also your current and present financial situation, how you want to take this. Yeah, I think someone like Afiq will be able to advise you on this, on matters on how you can actually be passively investing. Yeah.
In fact, one of my intentions and we've already been set. We are going to do, folks, you heard it here first time on our first one. We are going to do a UT clinic or investment clinic. So for those of you who have existing investments or who just want to start investing, inshallah, we'll be doing a live private session. We're limiting it to only 5 people. Look up for it in our HIN group, where we're going to go deep into your own portfolios if you have one. And if you do not have one, we'll go deep into your own personal strategies, how you can start investing. So we call it currently the investment clinics. Look out for the announcement in our HIN group. You should be able to register. And remember, it's only limited to the first 5 people every 2 weeks. So enough about that from me. Ardy, shall we look at some stocks?
Okay, sure. So Afiq, what's the first stock you want to look at?
Zoom!
Right.
So we've done our screening beforehand. We've done some of our screening. And so whatever stocks that we do recommend are not for you to just go and invest blindly. Do your own due diligence. These are the stocks that we highlight that we think could be very interesting to look at. And we've done our screening to make sure, to the best of our ability, that it is Sharia compliant. Although some stocks may change in status later on. So just because it is Sharia compliant today doesn't mean it's Sharia compliant tomorrow. Always do your own due diligence. And we've got a few that we've shortlisted and we were thinking of having a look at. And I'm going to start with Zoom, which is symbol ZM. It's on the NASDAQ, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
right?
it is.
It's on the NASDAQ. And Ardy's going to show us his magic chart, which is as close to a crystal ball as you can get. Can.
It's basically, okay, maybe I can just introduce a bit on technical analysis. Okay, what is technical analysis? Technical analysis, basically, there's an assumption that price always repeats itself, right? So that's why in technical analysis, you use support and resistance, you use chart patterns, right? So some people think that investing, you must be good with your numbers. Yes, it's good to be good in maths and all that, but actually I tell people, if you are good at recognizing patterns and all that, you could actually be a good investor or trader yourself, right? So yeah, so that surprises quite a number of people, Afiq.
So am I. Okay, so I'm a finance guy. I failed math in school, but I attribute that to having a bad teacher, because after I left that, I went to uni, I got A's in all my math classes. Like, what? I didn't know I was good at math. So now I've made it into a career. So let's go into Zoom. I want to study and learn from what you have to share. Tuan Datuk Paduka Agong.
Just call me Ardy lah, brother. Okay, so all right. So you see that in March, right, the price was around $100. Okay, somehow the price was going up since December 2009. So maybe I got a feeling that some of these guys who are investing in the stock market knew about the COVID-19 earlier on. Maybe it wasn't in the news, or maybe it was, but we were not aware of it. But it started to actually increase in price. As you can see, when it had a double bottom here, it hit a low of around $61, around $60. And then after that, it started to actually go up. So, all of us knew that in March was when the COVID, the lockdown happened and all that. But before that, the market was already moving up. So it's quite strange there, right, Afiq?
Insider information, is it?
I think so. Maybe it could be. And so price rose all the way to $100, and then slowly it continued up all the way. It made a swing low here and another swing low. Basically, a swing low is a basing kind of a price pattern whereby price actually reversed from highs and then to test support. All right. So in technical analysis, when markets actually go up, they don't just go up in one straight line. Okay. It does need to actually go back down. We call that in technical analysis retracement. All right. So price do a retracement, and when it retraces, it will look for a support level.
Ardy, can you zoom in a little bit? Kita tak nampak.
Zoom in kat mana, kat sini?
Tak, as in the whole chart. I suspect because if my screen like that is really quite small, I can't imagine people watching on their phones or something. Is it possible that we, you know?
This is actually the best that I can go with on my laptop.
Okay, napa. So those of you watching on your phone, remember when we do schedule in all our live events, watch on a PC, try and tengok besar-besar. Okay, if you can project your 60-inch TV, please do so. I would love to see it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So maybe I don't move the chart so much. This is the best I can go actually. So you can actually see the bars, right? These are all candlesticks, and blue means that it ended in that month in profit. Basically, the price went up. So if it's actually black, it means to say that price started at a higher level but closed at a lower level. So that's why it's a black candle. Is that clear? Am I clear on that?
I am okay. I understand. So just to recap, if it's blue, means it closed high. If it's black, means it closed down.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let me just do this. Draw this curve, right? As you can see, right, it actually went parabolic, and it hit a high somewhere last year in October, 19th of October, and after that it broke this particular support level here, and now it's going back down, right? But as you can see as well, it is gradually, it's a gradual kind of move. It's going down. It's like it goes down, finds support at 381, move back up at 489, goes back down to 326, goes up back to 441. So as you can see, market actually, goes up and down, right? So this is where the active investors actually do their thing. Okay. So of course, you don't want to be actually buying into a downtrend. I would say this is now, I can say this is it's a downtrend, but it is not a downtrend which actually makes this stock untouchable, because overall you can see that the lows at this area. Okay, let me just draw. Okay, the yellow, this is a swing low, and then we have another swing low here. Okay, basically price found support at this level, and you can see that it has not even come back to this point, right? So you cannot say that this is a downtrend for this stock. I would say it is a retracement. Right. So another tool that I use to actually see how far down it has retraced is by using this tool called the Fibonacci retracement tool. So I can actually project from the bottom to the top. So it is exactly at around the 50% Fibonacci level. Right. So if we use Fibonacci, right, this particular stock can actually move up from here, because the 50th level is quite a strong level most of the time. All right, and it can actually move towards the 38.2, which is the 384.68 level. So that's about $50. Basically about 15% upside potential for this particular stock. Yeah. So if you're an active investor, you'll be looking at this kind of movements. We are looking at getting 10 to 15% or even 10 to 30% moves, and then after that exiting after their target is met. Of course, there will be risk management as well, like where do you put your stop loss and all that. So those kind of things, I think this is actually good content for another video or another time actually.
Most definitely. Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. So you can see that the uptrend is still intact. We have not even retraced back to these levels or these levels yet. And, we can see that it's a rounding bottom. So yeah, if I'm a trader, basically I will be taking a buy trade somewhere around these levels. The 300 level is actually also a round number, which is where most buyers would actually position themselves if they want to enter the market at this point. So yeah, what do you think of this chart?
Well, in the past 10 minutes, I've learned more than in a lot of the different trading courses I've attended. I've personally lost quite a few $100,000 in trading, and that's not fun. But wow, okay, so I think maybe zoom. Should we Again, folks, another disclaimer, not an invitation to invest in this particular counter. This is only for education and entertainment purposes. Please do your own due diligence before you invest any of your hard-earned cash. But so saying that, if I'm looking at Zoom, it looks very attractive. It looks like there is a chance that it might be going back up. I totally buy into what you say about it not hitting the bottom, especially if at the $240 mark, that was the last low, right? If you look at that.
Yeah, and also another thing to note, Afiq, actually, if you look at the candles here in this region, let me just actually draw a circle around it so everyone can see. Yeah, so if you can see this region here, basically we see the candles are getting short, right? It's all short candles here, right? Short candles.
Consolidation.
Right? Yes, this is a consolidation phase, actually, area. After consolidation, we usually see a bigger move, right? So, and you can see that it's rounding a rounding bottom as well. So, yeah, that's another factor to consider if you are actually buying this stock. Yeah. You can see previously the candles were a bit longer. Like for this one especially, it's really, it went up to a high of 435, and for that particular month, the range was over $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that swing is crazy, yeah?
Yeah, that swing is really crazy. And you see, these are all big candles, right? When these big candles, you see these kind of big candles, right? Basically, it tells you that the momentum is strong on the bearish side if it's black, right? But if it's blue, basically the buyers are coming in to push it back up. But when you see these kind of small, tiny candles, it's telling you basically that it's a consolidation phase, and the big boys could be coming in at this point to pick up the stock before it moves further to the north.
Yeah. Wow, this is very interesting. So personally, would you buy into it?
Personally, I'm just the analyst right now, so I wouldn't give any call on that yet. I need to be objective.
So folks, if you're watching, absolutely do your own due diligence. After this call, after today, Ardy and I are going to have a sweet one-to-one. We're going to talk about what kind of stocks we want to buy. And no, you cannot know what we're talking about. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, so any other things you want to talk about for Zoom? Because we still have about, inshallah, 20 to 25 minutes. And I think we can cover a couple of other stocks to talk about today. Why not, right? What do you think?
Yeah, maybe another one or two more stocks. Yeah, we have that kind of time. So maybe let's look at another stock, which, Afiq, you want to choose or you want to let the audience choose?
Okay, let's see. Let's give them the next 20 seconds. Somebody comment in below what particular stock do you want us to have a look at. Of course, we'll have to run through the screener to see if it's Sharia compliant. And then, okay, I'm looking at the comments now. So far, nothing yet. Let me look at the list that we shared earlier. Okay. We had a list of more than 10 stocks that we have shortlisted this morning, and we can only talk about a few today.
Yeah. Maybe if once you've chosen that stock, you can give the background of the company as well, Afiq, so that everyone knows what it is doing and why it is actually Sharia compliant.
Why is it Sharia compliant? That's a very good question. I might have to go very deep into the fundamentals, but don't think we have enough time for that. But inshallah, okay. So since nobody commented, let's look at NET, N-E-T, Cloudflare. So Cloudflare is a company that does websites, web development, and security. So Cloudflare has been around since 2009, just after I was born. They've been around since 2009. They've grown quite a lot. If I'm looking at the chart for the past, since 2009, they've grown a lot over the past 11 years. And they provide web infrastructure and website security. And so Cloudflare, if you guys have ever built any kind of website, you would have noticed that you say DDoS protection provided by Cloudflare. So they're an old bird in the industry. They've been doing quite well, alhamdulillah. And according to our screener, it says it is Sharia compliant. Let me confirm that one more time. Nanti dosa pula, you know what I mean, kalau salah cakap. Can. So let's have a look at NET. That's the symbol. So folks, if you don't know what a symbol is basically the short form counter name that you can find on the exchange. So in this case, the company name is Cloudflare and the symbol is NET and it's listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So Cloudflare, let's have a look. It is still Sharia compliant. And Ardy has pulled up the chart. Wow, that looks like a very, very nice chart. And it's only since October last year. Wow, fierce too.
Okay, so let's look at this particular counter. All right, I'm just drawing the support resistance levels. All right, so you can see that this particular counter, right, somewhere in February, it actually closed with this pintail candle, right? This pintail candle is a bearish candle. Okay, it gives you a bearish signal actually. So, and as you can see, after that particular candle appeared, right? After that candle appeared, price went down for 3 consecutive months, right?
Yes.
After you can see, right, 3 consecutive months of actually falling, after this particular bearish candle appeared. So, yeah, so if candlestick analysis is another area in technical analysis. So it is actually a method that was invented by the Sakata family in Tokyo. Okay, they were actually using this method of reading charts since 200, 300 years ago, I think, and they actually became one of the richest families in Japan because of that, because they were using this method to actually trade rice futures in Japan. Yeah. So as you can see, it actually went lower, but we saw some support at this level. Right. So this support level, and also we have a higher swing low. Okay. What do I mean by that? Okay. What do I mean by that? This one is something which I teach to my students as well. Is you can see this particular, we have a swing low at this level, and then after that, another swing low actually appeared here. So this is a higher swing low, right? If you go down to the weekly chart, what you can see is that it has actually created a triangle pattern, which is a consolidation pattern, right? And can you see, Afiq, that it has actually broken out of this consolidation triangle pattern, right? So it broke out, and then this black candle actually retested this slanting line before price actually made a bullish candle. Okay, this to me is a bullish candle. You have the body, okay, which is a blue body, which is a bullish candle, and then you have the pintail, and then the next, usually when you see this kind of candles, the next candle will actually cover this area here. So it actually did that. It went to, it covered this area and it went even higher.
Yep.
Right?
The next high.
Yeah. So what I did was, how did I actually get the other top candle? I actually extrapolated this bottom slanting line. I actually extrapolated it back to the top. As you can see, it touches and it came down here for last month's candle, and this month is trying to close above it, right? So where is this actually moving? This, in my opinion, is moving towards the previous resistance, which is at $87. Right now, it is at 82. So you still have about another $5 upside, about $4 or $5. So that's about 5% upside from where we are right now.
Correct.
Yep. So once price reach around this zone, all right, this zone here, this black line, which I've taken as well, you can see that once it reaches this area, we don't know what it will do from there. It might just bounce back down, and then it might do this. All right, it will not just bash through. I believe it will actually do something like this. It will retrace lower. That's the bottom. You will look for support around this region, and then if the market is bullish, it will actually continue to move up. Yeah, this is my analysis on this counter, Afiq.
Wow, that is very, very helpful. Awesome stuff. That is Cloudflare. That's NET. So Very, very interesting. I think you are right. I'm looking at the count. I'm looking at your indicators as well, and it does make a lot of sense. I would definitely ask, what would be the holding period for this? I wouldn't hold this for anything longer than a few months, I would say, right?
I think for if I were looking at this stock, I would compare it to other stocks as well, because I would usually prefer if the upside is about 10% or more, and then I would actually go for it. But in this case, for 5% and the risk that I'm taking, I would look at other counters, maybe other counters that would give me a better upside.
Let's spend a few minutes on risk. Remember a few days back when we were talking about it, the risk to reward ratio, and then you calculated that. Let's share with our viewers a little bit, just a quick refresher on how do you do risk to reward ratio.
Right. So, okay, let's just pull out a tool here. Mana dia dah begini?
Aku tak tahu. Aku tengok kau punya tools, aku dah nak lari.
Hey, hold on. I'm trying to find the tool.
Folks, if you don't understand what's going on, don't worry. Neither do I.
Okay, so this is the long position. Okay, this is the long position tool. This is what I mean. Okay, if let's say we are entering at where we are right now, and let's say our target is somewhere around here, and let's say we put our stop loss at, if it goes back into this channel, then we have something like this, where the top of the green line here, the green space here, is where our target is, and then below is where we want to put our stop loss. So in this case, you have the risk reward ratio of 0.88, which is not actually a good risk reward ratio, right? So we would prefer to actually take trades that are at least 1.0 or above 1. 1:2, 1:3. That means you risk 1, but you intend to actually be rewarded twice or 3 times of what you risk.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So in this case, the risk reward ratio is skewed to against us. That's the reason why you wouldn't want to take this, unless, of course, what you can do is you can still be monitoring the stock, but what you do is you wait for the price to actually go above the resistance. So that means, right, if it goes above the resistance, then you will be looking for the price to retrace lower to test the resistance, which will now become support. Okay, the function of that line, that zone, will be inversed if, let's say, it goes above it. So once it is resistance now, but once it goes up and then it is above that particular zone, it becomes support. So it will retest usually and then continue its way up, if let's say the trend and momentum is to the upside. Yeah.
Best. That is awesome. So the risk reward ratio, folks, if you need to always weigh the risk and reward, just like how you go dating. If you see a really hot girl, and then you think to yourself, can I risk it? What's the reward? The reward is if I get a date with a really hot girl, what's the risk? She says no, right? So if it's a low risk, high return, why not we go for it, right? But if you are married like me and you see the hot girl and then you think to yourself, is the risk worth the reward? Then if the risk is way too high, you don't take that trade. Betul tak?
I think that kind of example, I'm not sure how to react to it.
Joe, there, if you're watching, Lina, I love you. I love you. I think we have just enough time to go for one more counter. What do you think, Ardy?
Okay, Ken, sure.
Okay,
so what do you want to look at? Why not we look at a counter that most people have it in their hands, actually, the products of this counter. Why don't we look at Apple?
Apple. Let me check if Apple halal tak.
Okay.
AAPL is questionable.
Okay, all right.
Should we avoid? Kalau was-waskan.
Yeah.
Somebody commented Moderna. Well, Moderna is not Sharia compliant, unfortunately. So tak leh. What else?
Yeah.
If I'm looking,
you have that list ready, right? After maybe take a look at another one. But it's good you look. Yeah.
Something that a lot of people wear. Crocs. CROX.
I use that.
Crocs. They're ugly but comfortable.
Yeah. So CROX.
X.
Okay. It's amazing, right? How this so-called new product can actually become a multi-million dollars, if not billion-dollar business.
It's only rubber.
That's right. So you can see now on the weekly chart. Okay, I actually went down to the weekly chart, not the monthly. Or for Crocs, it is in a clear uptrend, bro.
Wow, that looks good.
It is in a very, very clear uptrend. So I guess most investors are thinking, during the COVID-19, people will walk more. They can't travel, but they will still have to exercise and walk. So this particular stock last year was just at $10, and now it's at $84, bro. It's
Wow.
800%, 700% returns for someone who bought it at $10.
For something you put on your feet.
Yeah, so this is the reason why, from what I understand in my own readings of building a portfolio, you might want to have some of your funds in active investing, like going to stocks, and maybe 10-20%, where the gearing is higher, the risk is higher, but potential returns are also quite high, right? So I don't know anything that gives returns like this, bro, like this, Afiq. 700%.
Tu lah. Kaya kasut ni.
So I mean, let's look at it's a very strong trend. In fact, you did choose something really solid, Afiq. This is something that if you're looking to invest in, this could be.
I was looking at it and I thought, wow, I wish I had bought Crocs. I personally, when it comes to shoes, I'm a little bit of a snob. I only wear a particular brand, and then when I see people wear Crocs, I go, ee. But if I'm looking at the stock Croc, the Croc stock, oh my god, look at that.
This is really unexpected. I wasn't looking at Crocs, so it's good going on this live show. Afiq, we can also discover stocks that are trending.
Potential investment opportunities. Again, disclaimer, do your own due diligence. Do not take whatever we say as an invitation to go and invest. It is only for educational and entertainment purposes. Takut tu.
Okay, let me just do this. So we have a retracement to this level here. Once it actually from $62, it went all the way to 77. It retraced lower, and the retracement actually went all the way to somewhere around $65 before price actually continued its way up to around the $84. So right now we are seeing price back at 84. So you can see that there were a couple of times when this particular stock actually moved lower. From 84, it went down to $70, and it went back up to $84. So $14, that's about a 20% return. You can see this bar is 1 week. So from the bottom here to the top, it just took about 2 weeks to reach the top. 1 week, it goes back down again. So there's volatility here. That means there's a lot of fighting between the bulls and the bears at this level. But from my reading of the chart, I want to just highlight something here. You can see that there is a swing low here, right? This particular swing low versus this particular swing low over here. So you have a higher swing low. And in my opinion, technically, basically, I feel that this is going to go up. Yep, it's going to go up if it breaks that particular resistance. Maybe you want to take a picture of this, Afiq, so next time when we cover this again and see whether my analysis is correct.
Snapshot. Kita ambil screenshot. My side, it's a little bit blurry, but let's try.
Okay, never mind. I'll do the snapshot. I have this thing called Snagit, which can snag the whole screen.
Oh, I use Windows snipping tool. I have it on a shortcut. I press one button on my keyboard, it's snapshot, then I can drag.
Yeah, for this one, you can actually do drawings on it.
Wow.
So you can, so I've just saved it there. So now it's at $84. Once it breaks and we have a higher swing low, from my experience, a higher swing low will indicate that price will move further up. And the next target, okay, looking at this slanting line channel here, it may actually target $95. So that's an $11 upside, just above $10, 10% returns, about 12% returns.
Correct.
If it hits its target at 85. Yeah.
Oh, ni best ni.
Yeah, and there's no, and from what we saw in the Dow Jones, I concluded that we still have some time for Dow Jones to move up further, right? But there's not much space, but it's still going up. The trend is still up. So that's why I think for something like Crocs, now at 84, it may, eventually go towards the round number of $100. So that's about returns of
$20 up, almost
about $20, about $15 lah. About 20% to the upside if it goes towards the round number. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, this is a nice stock to look at. Thanks, Afiq, for choosing this.
I was just looking through the app of all the different Shariah compliant ones, and Crocs came up. It came up very nicely. So at the end of today, we're gonna recap. I'm gonna put in a comment down below. Recap the three counters that we looked at. So just to recap, it was Zoom, Cloudflare, and Crocs. And so today, Zoom looked very interesting. Cloudflare, okay, maybe not. And Crocs is a definite, wow, look at that. It might go up. Once again, folks, do your own due diligence. Make sure you have set up your core portfolio and your satellite portfolio before you throw any money into anything you're not sure about. Okay? If you need help, drop us a text. The group is very much open. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Ardy, anything else you want to say about Crocs before we close the session for the day?
Yeah, one thing they do really make good shoes, and yeah, I love their shoes. Maybe that's why their stocks are actually going up, and
because of one man.
Yeah, I've just to say that I really enjoyed sharing with all of you guys out there who's looking at all these charts and wondering what the heck is Ardy talking about. But anyway, yeah. So I really enjoy actually sharing with you guys, and hopefully more people will be interested in the art of technical analysis and understanding charts, because with this skill, you can actually look not only at stocks, you can look at other markets as well, right? You can even look at an ETF, right? I think there is actually a chart for ETFs, right?
Correct. There are charts for ETFs. I've been looking at some of the Shariah compliant ETFs out there. Well, quite frankly, between you and me, I don't really recommend trying to time ETFs simply because of the nature of the indexes they track. But I mean, if you want to add an ETF, look at it, putting into your core portfolio, and then your satellite, you can pick some stocks, some very interesting short-term plays to put inside there as well. Kan.
Yeah. So ETF side is something that Afiq is specialized in, and he's the best guy to go to when dealing with ETFs. So you can actually contact him. Yeah, for me, I do actually provide classes on technical analysis and understanding various types of markets. And right now, one of the popular courses is actually cryptocurrency. People are beginning to actually warm up to the idea of investing in cryptos. But then again, as what Afiq has always said, make sure you do your due diligence and you understand what you're getting yourself into, before you go into something like that. Yep.
Absolutely. Fantastic advice. Remember, folks, no matter what you do, have a plan first. Have a plan, have your strategy, think about it, think 10 times. Then once you're sure, fire, and then we go ahead. Okay, don't just blindly fire. Don't listen to anybody who tells you hot stock tips. And I read this a long time ago. Long-term strategy beats hot stock tips any day of the week. And so always have your long-term strategy in place. We have the next couple of minutes. I want to acknowledge everybody out here for watching, because ultimately, kalau none of you are watching, it's just me and Ardy berbual. And we all know that if I and Ardy berbual, I will kidnap him, and then you guys don't get him at all. Of course, I want to acknowledge and thank my partner Ardy Ismail. Thank you so much, Tuan Datuk Paduka Anggun, not Anggun. Sembarang lah, all those things for sharing. Inshallah, we'll have another session next week, time permitting. And I am so glad that you came on board and you want to share this with us, because ultimately we want to help our Muslim community grow. We want to help, of course, the whole community, investing community out there, to invest in a halal way, because halal, I honestly believe, is the way forward. And with that, Ardy, any last minute things you want to say?
It's only 12:58, so I cannot say selamat berbuka. But anyway, Afiq, I would like to thank you first for having me here, and for all you guys out there who are actually viewing, right? You all should actually wait for the next session because we have something that's going to be prepared for you guys, which I think you can benefit a lot from it, right, Afiq?
Awesome. Most definitely, we'll be preparing lots of content, lots of videos, articles, write-ups, all within the Halal Investing Network. All you have to do to partake is just share, invite your friends into the group, share our videos, comment, engage. Because what is more important than having a group? Having an active group. Because if you guys are not commenting, not asking questions, not engaging, then after a while, kita pun mendak. We also don't want to do already. We nobody lah. Never mind lah, Ardy, you and I minum kopi lah. After Ramadan lah, of course. Okay, folks. I will close this with Surah Wal Nas. Allah. Let's end with Surah Al-Fatihah. Auzubillah. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, folks. See you at the next one.
Assalamualaikum.